Hi, so continuing with the graphing of the parent function, I'm just going to redo what we did on the Desmo. So let's go ahead and look at the function y equals 1 over x. We did say we had a vertical asymptote at x equals 0. And to recall, an asymptote is a line on the graph of a function representing a value toward which the function may approach but does not reach. So if you remember, looking at our denominator, x cannot equal 0. So we do have a vertical asymptote at the line x equals 0. I'm going to draw that right now. So x equals 0, I have a vertical asymptote at the line x equals 0. And since x can never be 0 here, then y will never be 0. So I have a horizontal asymptote at the line y equals 0. So I'm drawing in my asymptotes. And then if you actually plug in values to the right of 0, I have a point at 1, 1. So when x is 1, y is 1. I also have a point at 0.110. And then I have a point at negative 1, 1. And as we approach to the left, we are getting closer and closer to 0. So I'm going to draw my hyperbola on the left. Will look kind of like a shape like this. And I will put arrows in. I'm going to do the same thing on the right. I'm going to draw going through the 0.11, and then it is going to reach my asymptote but actually never touch it. So even though it looks like it's touching the graph, it is not touching the graph. So this is what the parent function of 1 over x looks like. And we have our horizontal asymptote at the line y equals 0. We have a vertical asymptote at the line x equals 0. Now, what does it mean for our domain? So looking at our domain, it's all real numbers where x cannot equal 0. So if you look over here, x cannot be 0 because we cannot divide by 0. So the domain is all x values except x cannot equal 0. Now, what is our range? Our range is all y values except y cannot equal to 0. And since x and y can never be on the graph, we have no x and y intercepts. If you recall, an x-intercept is when y equals 0, and since y cannot be 0, then we have no x-intercepts, and a y-intercept was when x equals 0. And since x cannot be 0, we have no y-intercepts. So this is what our graph would look like.